back, dear viewers, and since the holy month of Ramadan is almost over and Eid al-Fitr festivities are on the way soon, what happens when Ramadan is over and how easy is it to fall back into overeating? How hard is it to start going back to the gym if you've taken a break during Ramadan? All these questions will be answered with our prominent guest over the phone, Dr. Sherifa Nahas, nutrition expert. Good afternoon, Dr. Sherifa.
Good afternoon and happy Eid.
Happy Eid to you. Dr. Sherifa, during Eid, what is the best way to eat healthy and following a healthy diet?
As you know, we have the tradition of eating kahk and cookies during Eid al-Fitr. So it's very important to start eating slowly and mindfully. As not to regain weight after Ramadan and not to indulge in too many sweets that you can relapse. People can relapse because of the sugar rush that they eat during iftar, first day of Eid. So I suggest that people start their day with 2 cups of water. And then most people enjoy having coffee and they miss having coffee during Ramadan. So it will be a great to have the first cup of coffee after fasting for a whole month. And then they can have a portion of protein. And afterwards, they can have a kahk, but they don't have to eat a lot because, as you know, one piece of kahk contains almost 250 calories. Which is a lot of calories. If you just have 2 or 3, you already took your calorie intake. So indulging in too much kahk is very bad for the dopamine, the hormones. It keeps you eating a lot. So we have to have a good portion of protein before eating kahk and drinking 2 cups of water.
Yeah, well, some people lose weight during Ramadan. So how can they avoid falling back into overeating?
It's very important for people to have a food journal, writing down what they eat. This will help them a lot to keep themselves on track and not to relapse. So having a food journal will be very important. Drinking a sufficient amount of water, which is they can calculate their water intake by their weight in kilograms, multiplied by 30 to 40, and then they will have their proper amount of liters that they should be drinking during the day. This is very important, and they can try to calculate their calorie intake and not to eat too much sugar, because especially sugar keeps you overeating.
People eat their suhoor very late at night. So how can people learn how to cut out late night snacking, which they are used to during Ramadan?
They will have to have a good meals in the morning. You have to have good breakfast. You have to have a snack and then a lunch with sufficient amount of protein. And then you can keep it very light at night. You can eat like yogurt. You can eat like rice pudding. Something light at night will help a lot. But you have to have a good meals in the morning. You don't have to miss meals in the morning, or you miss your breakfast, or you miss your snack. So this will make you overeat at night. And a very important thing I just want to add is managing stress, because if you don't manage your stress, you will keep indulging in bad food at night.
Yeah. Talking about kahk, which is a traditional sweet that is eaten during Eid, how can people reduce the amounts of sugar they eat during Eid with all the lovely cookies and the lovely kahk that is being eaten during Eid? What advice do you give, and especially to people for diabetics?
Okay. First of all, we have to have a plenty amount of water, sufficient amount of water. We have to eat protein before eating kahk, because proteins signal a hormone. There is a connection between our gut and our brain through a vagal nerve. So eating protein signals a hormone called cholecystokinin, which keep us full for a long time. So eating a portion of protein before having the kahk will be very important, because it will lower our intake for kahk. And it's very bad having all this sugar, because kahk has sugar on top of it and inside of it.
Yes.
So we can eliminate the sugar that is put in on top of the kahk, because some baking shops, they put the sugar aside. So we can have the kahk without this sugar on top of it.
How many pieces? Yeah, go ahead.
How many kahk?
How many pieces of this cookie is okay for a diabetic person?
A diabetic person, they have to adjust their insulin intake.
Yeah.
They have to have just one kahk a day is sufficient.
One piece of kahk.
Yes, it's sufficient, and they have to monitor their blood sugar.
Yes. During
Eid, not only the kahk, as you know, the people they are very eager to have breakfast in the morning, have lots of food, and then afterwards they have the kahk. So it's too much food.
Yeah. Sure. Well, also during Eid, people prefer fast food. How does this affect their health, and how to overcome the addiction of fast food, especially for the children and the youth?
Okay, fast food has a very bad effect on our health, on our cells, our hormones. And how we gain weight, because fast food has a lot of chemicals, additives, preservatives, and something called MSG, monosodium glutamate. This is a chemical component that is added to the fast food to keep it to make it taste good, very good. It tastes like if you ate a sandwich of this fast food, you don't feel satisfied. You have to have another one.
Yes.
It keeps you overeating. So if the kids or the youth they miss the fast food because they haven't eaten it throughout the holy month of Ramadan, and they miss just one meal. So one meal will be okay, but indulging in so much fast food, it affects the health directly. Lots of chemicals that keeps our cells old and affects our memory and affects our energy levels.
Yeah. What are the risks of eating too quickly or too fast? I mean.
This is a very good question, because this is actually what happens in the iftar during iftar and breakfast in the Eid al-Fitr. So it makes us overeat, because it ruins our hormones. So it doesn't give the brain a signal to stop eating. So we keep eating, so we gain weight, and we have problems in our digestive system, because eating without chewing enough, it causes gases, gastritis, and bloating, and affects badly our digestive system.
Yeah.
So it's very important to chew our food well. We can count our chews. Start counting it. 20 times is perfect. It can help us, help our body to signal the right hormones make us stop eating.
Many people associate menopause with weight gain. How do you read this, and how to control weight gain during menopause?
It really affects it, because having low estrogen or having imbalance between estrogen and progesterone, the female hormones, it slows down a bit our metabolism. So we have to take care not to eat carbohydrates, because carbohydrates is the first enemy for premenopausal lady or a menopause lady to start losing weight. So she has to take care of her carbohydrates, limit her carbohydrates, and limit her sugar intake. And she should be eating lots of food that contains fibers. So vegetables will be a great option, and leafy greens will be a great option, and lower her intake also of beans. Grains could be her enemy if she wants to lose weight.
Moving on to children, Dr. Sherifa, when is it necessary for children to follow diet, either lose or gain weight?
You know what? During my practice, I meet a lot of kids, teenagers, toddlers, and most of them, they suffer from weight gain, even if they are practicing sports. And this is due to the high intake of fast food. So I really need to address the mother or the caretaker to take care of preparing homemade food. This is very important. And always, even if the kids are practicing sports, they need to have a meal after finishing their training, because they feel drained and they need to replenish their glycogen levels. So having a ready-made meal in the kids' bag to have them after training is very important. And not to, if they don't have their meals ready, so they will buy a meal from a fast food supplier. That will cause obesity, and this is the number one cause obesity for kids.
What are the measures that we have to consider as our children are growing with regards to their diets in different ages?
It's very important for kids to sleep well in order not to overeat. It's very important to manage their stress levels, because there are so many kids that having online classes, because due to this corona pandemic that we are all going through. So some kids are really stressed out because they sit and they stay at home for a long time, and everything is is online. So they might be stressed out. So we have to take care of their stress levels. We have to take care of their BMI, not to have too much fat percentage in their body. And this will happen by having them eat a balanced diet with less carbohydrates. Because a balanced diet is not having a lot of carbohydrates, and this what happens with our kids. We have to include more vegetables, more fruits, and less carbs.
Okay, right. Dr. Sherifa, how can we change our children and teenagers' terrible fussy eating habits to healthier eating habits and healthier lifestyle also?
As I told you, we have to have home-cooked meals for the kids. Very important. Not to grab food from the fast food suppliers. This is a number one thing that we have to consider. And also we have to teach kids to eat slowly, mindfully, and to incorporate more vegetables in their food. And the vegetable is not a punishment. We have to cook vegetables in a very creative and nice way for the kids to enjoy them. It's not a punishment for them to eat the veggies, but it's very important to have creative meals. And there's lots of pages on Facebook, Instagram that offer delicious, healthy recipes.
Right. What's the relation between healthy eating and a good mood?
It's really correlated together. They go along because indulging in sugar and starchy, a lot of starchy vegetables like potatoes, and cooking them with a bad way, frying them, this affects our mood a lot because it makes the brain release dopamine, which is a pleasure hormone, and releasing too much dopamine causes mood swings. So the person who indulges in too much sugar and bad fats have lots of mood swings.
Yeah. Finally,
Stress and anxiety.
yeah.
And this affects also the microbiome in our gut, the good and bad bacteria in our gut, and which affects our brain. As I have just mentioned, that there is a correlation between our gut and our brain through a vagus nerve.
Mm-hmm. Well, finally, Dr. Sherifa, as all prices are going up and the inflation, and how to eat healthy without blowing the budget?
Yeah, healthy food really isn't expensive. I can tell you parsley, celery, coriander, arugula, spinach, those are very cheap ingredients that can be incorporated in every meal that will really help us lose weight, feel healthy, and increase our energy levels. Eggs are a perfect protein, which isn't that much expensive. We have chickpeas, we have beans, cooking falafel in a healthy way, not putting them in the boiled oils, but we can bake them in the oven. There is a lot of options that we can have on a healthy budget, a healthy diet.
Yeah, well, I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Sherifa Nahas, our nutrition expert. Many thanks for your insight, and happy Eid to you.